Good morning. Today is the second day of Menachem Av, as it's called, on the Jewish calendar. We're in the middle of the 9 days, second day of the 9 days, and we're going to be reading this coming Shabbos, reading the Torah portion of Devarim, the first section in Deuteronomy, first parsha in Deuteronomy, in the book of Devarim, the fifth book of the Torah, and it's Moshe speaking to the Jews at the end of his life, last few weeks of his life, and he knows he's going to pass, and he's speaking very frontally in the first person about their history and the lessons they need to learn, that he hopes that they learn, and they give them guidance for the future as they cross over into the promised land. In the unpacking and looking at the different levels of what he says, he reviews the history of how, after coming out of Egypt, they formed into a people with a constitution, with a framework and a system, a Torah system for life. And one of the things he speaks about is, on the face of it, is the judicial system. And it says that there were different ways of adjudicating things, and if there was something very difficult, they would bring it to him. And the language is this, which was difficult for you, hard for you, you'd bring it to me, ushmativ, and I would hear it, I would listen to it. And some commentaries point out, reading this in a bit of a different key, that he didn't say I would adjudicate it, I would listen to it. And Moshe is talking about the gift of listening, the gift of hearing what someone is saying. And it's a skill. It's not an easy one. It's one I think everybody would need to work on to be able to master it, to use it correctly, because it's a very important skill in each of us supporting each other and connecting with each other. And what it says is, something's difficult, bring it to me and I'll hear, I'll listen. And that itself, even the listening, doesn't even say he's going to respond, but listening, real listening, is a tremendous gift. And actually, the Talmud points to a verse in Proverbs, says when a person has a worry, something that's bothering them, something that's difficult for them, it says they should, unburden it. What do you mean unburden? So the Talmud says, using like a play on words, that person should, he or she should speak to someone else. Again, it doesn't say the other person should respond with advice, but having a listening ear often helps us come to the resolution ourselves. We're not alone. We know someone cares about us. We know someone is actively listening. We know someone is processing. We don't necessarily need their response. We need to know they care, and that could put us into a position where we can see things a little more clearly, where the pain that can obfuscate of the solution, that could subside, the clouds start to thin, and we can see our own way through. And this, reading in this case, this is what Moshe was saying. My job was, when something's difficult to you, bring it to me, I'll hear you, I'll listen. And that will be my gift. And that's a gift we can each give every day to those close to us, those who feel comfortable enough to unburden themselves and share their problems. Not necessarily for us to solve. If you can solve it, great. But very often, then that's not what they're looking for. Looking for a friendly ear, an actively engaged ear. And that, in and of itself, is a tremendous gift. Looking forward to a great day of strengthened relationships and strengthened self-awareness.